Have you ever walked out of a door, leaving an entire world spinning in your wake? It's a powerful feeling when you decide to leave a relationship or situation that's no longer healthy. A decisive step to protect your own peace and growth. But have you ever wondered if your departure leaves behind an unfillable void, an earthquake in the heart of the person you left? You might be surprised to learn that sometimes your absence can be more powerful than your presence. The person who once took you for granted may now be haunted by your departure, grappling with what they've lost. It's a paradox of love and life. Sometimes silence speaks louder than 1,000 words. In this video, we will explore the profound impact your departure can have on the person left behind. We'll delve into their psychology, understanding why your absence can trigger a wake-up call and lead to change. And more importantly, we'll learn how to use this power consciously and positively, not only to protect ourselves, but also to help others recognize our true worth. Let's embark on this journey of discovery together. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on future valuable content. Have you ever found yourself trapped in the exhausting cycle of unrequited love, constantly chasing after someone, sending hundreds of messages only to receive an indifferent reply, or making calls that go unanswered? Do you feel like the more you try to get closer, the further they pull away? Are you left wondering what you need to do to win their heart? If you've experienced these emotions, know that you're not alone. Many people have fallen into the same trap, believing that sacrificing everything will make the other person appreciate them. But love doesn't work that way. Sometimes the harder you try to hold on, the further you push them away. So when you find yourself in this deadlock, what's the way out? The answer might surprise you. Cease contact, remain silent, and walk away. Yes, sometimes the best way to turn the tide is to take a step back. Your silence and absence can create an unexpected void, forcing the other person to reflect and realize what they're losing. It might spark curiosity, even longing within them. Of course, this isn't an easy game. It requires patience, self-respect, and the ability to accept the truth, even if it's painful. But if you truly want to change the situation, this could be the key step to regaining their respect and affection. In love, when people feel unappreciated, they often tend to try even harder to please their partner, hoping that these actions will help them be recognized and valued. They believe that if they put in more effort, show more affection, and are willing to sacrifice more, their partner will see their worth and begin to treat them better. However, reality often shows that this approach rarely yields the desired results. Instead, it can lead to being even less appreciated or becoming a victim of exploitation in the relationship. Take Emily, for example. She devoted all her time and affection to her boyfriend, Jack. Emily was always willing to do anything to make Jack happy, from changing her personal interests to match his, to cooking, taking care of him, and supporting him in every situation. She believed that if she was good enough to Jack, he would recognize her as the ideal partner and appreciate her more. However, instead of being grateful, Jack started to take Emily's sacrifices for granted. He no longer made an effort in the relationship, didn't spend quality time with Emily, and sometimes even treated her poorly. The more Emily tried, the more indifferent and dismissive Jack became, taking advantage of her kindness. In love, being too accommodating and willing to do anything to please the other person without setting boundaries is often mistaken as a sign of insecurity and desperation. This makes it easy for the other person to take advantage and lose respect for you. When someone constantly prioritizes their partner's needs and desires over their own, without expecting fair reciprocation, they inadvertently put themselves in a weak, vulnerable position, allowing the other person to dominate and control them. To change this situation, sometimes the best option is to leave, or at the very least, to set new boundaries for yourself within the relationship. When you decide to walk away from a relationship where you feel undervalued, you send a clear message that your kindness and love are not something to be taken for granted. This action not only helps you protect yourself, but also forces the other person to face the consequences of their behavior and the loss they now have to endure. For instance, when Emily decided to end her relationship with Jack, he finally realized her importance. There was no longer anyone willing to care for him or listen to him when he was in need. Jack's life felt empty, and he began to miss the attention and support that Emily had once given him. It was only then that he realized he had taken her love and sacrifices for granted, but by that time it was too late to change anything. Walking away not only helps the other person recognize your value, but also compels them to reflect on their own behavior. If they have any sense of self-awareness and dignity, they will question their own mistakes and wonder if there is any way to make amends. They will ask themselves if they have lost a genuine partner, someone who was willing to stand by them and share all the ups and downs of life. This regret will serve as a valuable lesson, helping them understand more deeply about love and relationships. There is a strong temptation when we decide to leave someone to hold on to a faint hope that they will eventually realize their mistakes, change, and come back to us. This is truly a psychological trap we set for ourselves. We hope that by leaving, our absence will become a catalyst for the other person to recognize the loss and change themselves. But this not only causes suffering for ourselves, but also distorts the original purpose of leaving. If we keep waiting for their remorse and change, we inadvertently become prisoners of that delusional hope. Stoicism advises that when deciding to leave, we should act with clarity and decisiveness, without leaving any explanation or clue for the other person. This is not an act of coldness or cruelty, but a way to protect ourselves from unhealthy attachments. When we start explaining, arguing, or even giving reasons for our actions, we are opening the door for the other person to influence our decision. They will find ways to justify, excuse, and persuade us to change our mind. And if we allow ourselves to be drawn into that cycle, it's very likely that we will give them another chance and then fall back into the loop of disappointment. For example, imagine you are in a relationship where your partner continuously disrespects your personal boundaries. You have talked many times, tried to explain, and given them chances to change, but things remain the same. Finally, you decide to leave because you understand that this lack of respect cannot be corrected with words. However, if you still harbor a sliver of hope that they will change, you might leave them a hint about why you're leaving. You might say, "I am leaving because you don't respect me." And then after some time, when that person comes back to apologize and promises to change, you find yourself wavering. At that moment, you have inadvertently betrayed your own decision. Integrity in the act of leaving requires us to have a firm and resolute mindset. Once we have made the decision, we must carry it out decisively, without hesitation, and not be swayed by emotions or promises from the other person. Stoicism emphasizes that the goal of leaving is to seek peace and freedom for ourselves, not to change or control the behavior of others. Whether they realize their mistakes or not is entirely beyond our control, and therefore should not be our concern. Furthermore, when we leave with the secret hope that they will realize their mistakes and come back, we are creating a psychological dependence on that person. This is completely contrary to the spirit of freedom and independence that Stoicism advocates. we will remain trapped in waiting and disappointment and eventually return to that relationship. Not because the other person has changed, but because we couldn't let go of our own delusional hope. When a romantic relationship ends, it's not the end of everything, but rather a turning point, an opportunity to reflect and learn from the past experiences. In love, we all hope for a fulfilling relationship, a companion who understands and cherishes us. But not everyone is lucky enough to find the right person from the start. There are times when the relationship becomes strained, causing both parties to lose the best versions of themselves. That is when we need the courage to let go, to leave, and seek a more deserving love. The end of a relationship is sometimes not a failure, but a chance for you to rediscover yourself and realize that you deserve a complete love. When one door closes, another one opens. Leaving someone who is not suitable for you means opening yourself up to the opportunity to meet someone who appreciates and understands you better, someone you truly belong with. Don't get stuck in the past or suffer over a love that no longer exists. Every experience has its own meaning, and the person from your past came into your life to teach you one lesson: how to love and value yourself. Forgiving your ex is not about whether they deserve forgiveness, but because you deserve peace. Remember that everyone who comes into your life has a unique role. Some come to love you, some come to teach you how to love, and some come to teach you how to let go. The important thing is what you learn from them and how you have changed after each encounter. We cannot control who comes and who leaves, but we can control how we perceive and accept these changes. Every relationship that ends brings us maturity and a deeper understanding of ourselves. You leave not because of weakness or failure, but to seek a love that truly fits. Believe that somewhere out there, someone is waiting for you, ready to cherish and love you with all they have. When one door closes, another door opens, bringing hope and new opportunities. Do not be afraid to cross the threshold of change. Open your heart so true love can find you. Forgive your ex, not for them, but for yourself. When you let go of the past, you release yourself from invisible chains. Only then can you be ready to welcome a new love, someone who is worthy and knows how to cherish you. Trust in the future and in yourself, because you deserve the best things in life.